Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wizzo Talk. From Gridiron Dreams to Sideline Glory. Today's topic. Like for you, remember, whatever you do, remember that it is absolutely free, 100% free to like, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, make sure you please hit the notification bell so whenever we go live, you'll be able to get a notification for that. You can also find me on Wizzo Talk. I'm on, let me get my notes that went off. You can also find me on Spotify, is what I'm saying. And I also load up from time to time, load up some topics on TikTok. So we're gonna let my guest do his own intro, and then we're gonna get right on off into it.
What's up, y'all? It's Treston Womack. Everybody call me T-Mac, Coach T-Mac, DJ T-Mac, a lot of titles. Football coach up in Dubuque, Iowa, doing my thing. Now down here in Temple, Texas, ready to get on Wizzo Talk and see how it go.
All right, that's what's up. What's up? So what we're gonna do first, we're gonna start with the appetizer before we get into the meat and potatoes.
All right.
We're gonna say the meat or the meat and taters to after that, but we're gonna get to the appetizer first. So I kind of hear you like to do a little rap, or you've been writing a little rap before. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I had a music career, a little bit, or you could say a music career. I started probably writing when I was in about third or fourth grade. So I did that all the way up through college, pretty much. So I rapped at my high school, my middle school, and elementary school. Performed at all those levels. Had a few stops at America's Got Talent. I also had a singing group in high school. We did, it was four of us. We sang. We went to America's Got Talent, did pretty well. And then that led me into college where I became a DJ. And that was probably where I got the most reward from as a DJ, from hosting parties, throwing events, DJing in Chicago, and all type of stuff like that. I spit a little bit.
Okay, all right. Spit, but I'm not gonna ask you to spit none right now, though. And you took one of my notes because my next note was talking about America's Got Talent.
Oh, okay.
But let me ask you about that. Just tell me a little bit more about that experience with America's Got Talent. How was that? I know I've seen on TV they have long ass lines. You got to wait and all that stuff. So how was that being backstage? Were you by yourself or were you with some other guy? You was with the group.
So I went. We went 3 times. I went 3 times total.
Okay.
The first 2 times I went by myself and I rapped. And the first 2 times were unsuccessful. I went through, long lines. The first time we got there kind of late. It was in Austin, so we waited for hours before I actually got to do the audition. I thought I did pretty well. Happy to, had the producer dancing while I was rapping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. The second time, same result pretty much. But the third time I went with my a cappella group when I was in high school, and we actually did really well. We went in, we got there, was probably the first 5 people in line. You would know about that. You don't want to make sure that we got there super early. He wasn't going to wait in no line, so he made sure we got up about 3 in the morning and was in line by 4. But yeah, we got there and it was in Houston that time. And that time it went really well. We went in, it was 3 of us. It was me, Jalen, and Zach. Right? Yeah, me, Jalen, and Zach. So we went there and we performed, and we go in, we perform, then we go back outside. And this is how I knew we did well the third time. And I didn't do well the first 2 times because they called us back in and told us that we advanced to the next round and got to go to so it starts off with the live in-person audition. Then the second round is actually an online audition. You send in a video. And the third round is the live TV auditions. So we got to the second round. Unfortunately, one of our members got into a little bit of trouble with his mom or whatever it was, and she didn't let him go any farther. But I thought we could have for sure at least got to the live TV auditions because our group was really good.
Right. And that was all with you writing all of the music yourself.
All my rapping stuff was all me writing my own thing. When we got to our singing group, we kind of just did covers of other songs. Right. We had some of our own original songs, but when we went to America's Got Talent, we did "If I Ever Fall in Love Again" by Shy. So yeah, that was their song, but we sang it
on America's Got Talent. All right, well, check that out there. Well, that sounds outstanding. So I'm guessing that since in your coach career, you've had to put the music on hold for right now.
Yeah. So I don't really do any of too much with music anymore. I do have a couple of pianos at the house. Working on getting a guitar. Right. Then eventually I want to have a studio at the house. and get into my look, get a little bit more into my singing career.
Right.
I've been rapping forever, and I've wrote a few songs singing, but who knows? I can do that a little bit in my free time, sing a little bit, and write some songs, and get on the guitar, play strum a little bit is what they call it. So
Okay, that's what's up.
yeah.
That's what's up. I got a special guest that's going to log on here in just a few more minutes, but just to ask you about, so if someone wanted to find some of the music that you have out there right now, y'all, we still on the appetizer. We're not to the meat and taters yet. So if someone wanted to find some of your music that you have out there now, how would you go about finding you?
Yeah, you can find it on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. All you have to type in was T-Mac, and it's TMACKK, and it should pop right up. I have a few songs on there, so should be able to find it on all streaming platforms.
Okay, that's what's up. We'll wind up having to get you out there to look to it, get them to look you up out there. Like to remind everybody that it's absolutely free to like, share, and subscribe. So I appreciate your support. You subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell, and we'll appreciate that much wholeheartedly. And just got one going on. Let me see where I'm a little lost, because you didn't tuck my America's Got Talent one and everything like that. It went over to it.
Yeah, you told me to talk, so I'm gonna talk. I ain't got no problem.
Yeah, most definitely do that. All right, so just to get into, let me see here. Let me see. Got some guests talking in. Look like Sienna Womack is saying that's crazy. That's my brother. And JW, he said the same thing. So I guess you look like your sister and your brother was watching also. This music on Apple Music is pretty lit.
What's up, y'all? Go ahead, check it out. Appreciate it.
Did want to check it on out. All right. So I'm going on to got my little list of questions right here. So graduated in Waco and went to college at Amherst.
Yep, sure did.
All right. Well, let me talk to me a little bit about how did you choose to, how did that process go about going to Chicago? For one thing is from way down here in South to way up north, but that's in my other questions. But let's talk to me a little bit about how was it at Midway? What led you to Amherst?
Okay, so played at Midway. Had a pretty decent career. A couple of all conferences awards. Had a pretty decent career. Started for 2 years. Played well. Always been an undersized football player though.
Right.
So I pretty much knew like the D1 schools weren't calling. Right. D2 schools, a couple of them called, but it was mostly NAIA and D3 schools. And my big thing was I wanted to play football. I didn't really care at what level it was at or where it was at. I knew I wanted to play football. So Elmhurst actually sent me a letter, both I want to say early before the season started. And I looked at it and I threw it in the trash. I was like, Chicago, I'm not going to Illinois. Like, get out of here with that.
Right.
As the season goes on, more and more schools are sending me emails and sending me letters. And Elmhurst sent me another letter in like November. And it was like you're one of our top prospects. We really like to have you on campus type thing. Right. So then as I looked at it, I'm like, this is a handwritten letter. They took the time to actually write me a letter. So looking at it, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll give them a shot. So it was a coach called Coach. His name was Coach Macius. He gave me a call, and I started considering it more and more. The schools that were really recruiting me were either in Illinois, Missouri, Tennessee, and then there was a school in Arkansas and 2 schools in Texas. The 2 schools in Texas both wanted me to retake my ACT. Not a test taker. I didn't want to do it again. I did it twice. I was like, I don't know about that. So I go on the visits to the other schools that were out of state. Elmhurst, well, I'll pause it a little bit, go back. I knew I wanted to get into coaching, right? And everybody that I had talked to that had told me about coaching, they told me, be ready to move. Be ready to go here, go there, do this, do that. So my thought process was, well, if I go to college out of state, somewhere else, and I play football somewhere else, I'm already away from my family, and I learned to be away young. So by the time I get ready to start coaching, it doesn't make a difference where I go.
Right.
I can go anywhere because I've already done it. So then I'll go on my visit to Elmhurst, and the first one was great. They put me in a room with a player that was from the area, and he was a real cool host. Everybody I met was super nice, and it seemed like at the time that they had a good track of where the school was going to be going football wise. So all of those decisions weighed in, and eventually, which led to my commitment to going to Elmhurst. And me, I'm real big on starting stuff and finishing it. So went there. Things didn't go the way I thought they would go, but I stuck it out. I stayed all 4 years and graduated, and that's what led me to where I'm at now. So
okay. All right, just to go back in reverse for a second, and matter of fact, you didn't answer one of the questions that I got, but we'll probably answer it again. But just to go back, so Elmhurst, so any other letters that you go to any other visitors or anything like that?
Yeah, I did. I went to Missouri Baptist, which Missouri is in St. Louis. I went to Murrayville, which is in Knoxville, Tennessee. Elmhurst is right outside of Chicago. I also went to where else I go? Those three. I feel like I'm missing one. Hardin Simmons, that's in Texas. Okay. I visited them. And the D2 school up there at Midwestern State.
Okay.
We went to a game day visit there. So yeah, I went to quite a few different schools and visited them and saw what they were about, stuff like that. So
right. Okay. All right. And that going off to those schools, different states, whatever, was that like your first time traveling on the plane?
Alone, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Alone, because the only other time I had flown was when we went to Disney World when I was a kid. Right. But outside of that, the first flight I got on was to Elmhurst. I think that was my first visit, and I flew by myself and went up there and visited all the places and stuff. Asked a lot of questions about to the flight attendants and everybody that was hosting it, to try to figure out where I go and all that.
Right.
So now you would see me at the airport. I'm like a pro. I'm just walking through. Everything's easy. Yes, but back then it was not like that.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, that's all right. All right. So we wound up in Chicago up there from down south. So then let me ask you, so do you feel that you were prepared for college, that your parents had you prepared for college, to go off, to be by yourself, the financial stand, just talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I would say I was prepared in the sense of I knew how to do everything myself. And I was exposed to anything that I saw in college, I had already seen before I had got there. So it was not like I'm here for the first time and my parents finally give me a little bit of freedom, so I'm finna go get drunk every night and black out. Like I didn't. Right. It was that I didn't have to do that because I had already been exposed to that. I already seen that.
Right.
Not to say that I didn't go out and have a good time with my friends and all that stuff like that. But I wasn't the one that you're carrying out the party because he didn't know when to stop. You know what I mean? Which I saw that a lot. Right. A lot of kids that go to college, they've been babied their whole life. So you get to college, they don't know how to wash clothes, they don't know how to cook, they don't know how to make noodles without burning the noodles up. Like
burnt noodles.
I'm telling you, you've seen it all. Can't tell you how many times I've been in the dorms, fire alarm going off at 2 a.m. because somebody burnt noodles. It seemed like it happened every week.
How you burn the noodles?
I'm crazy. But yeah, I would say I was prepared for it. I knew how to do anything that I needed to know. I knew it before I went to college. Don't get me confused with saying that I didn't learn new stuff while I was there. Right. Learn it on the fly. Exactly. But the base of it, I was prepared for. I was prepared. I think my parents, you and mom, did a great job of teaching me all the stuff that I needed to know before I got there. Not to mention I had older siblings, who helped as well. So, and I was, I still brag about it a little bit. One of the first ones to graduate. So that was awesome. Walking that stage of 4-year university. So yeah, it was great.
That's outstanding. So as a young person getting ready to head off to college, knowing all that you have went through, what advice would you give to that person, that's getting ready to head off to college? And so how do you choose, or how do you select the team that because let's talk about Elmhurst, that was a handwritten letter. That wasn't anything typed out. So what advice would you give to a young person that's getting ready to head off to college out of state, maybe not know as much, and maybe not have learned so much?
Number one thing is be sure on the financial side of things, right? Before anything else, make sure you know how much the school costs, and then how you're going to pay it. Because like you run into that issue. I run into that issue all the time now as a coach. We ran into that when I was playing as well, is that
hold on a second.
This guy.
Wait a minute. Who is that?
What's up, man?
Yo, what's up with you?
Hey man, what's going on, man?
That boy said he was gonna tap in. He was not lying, huh?
Yeah, man. I'm so happy that you're on the show, but I gotta say I'm a little disgusted at this fake good guy front you got going on right now.
Ah, that's
It
crazy.
is I'm over here about to throw up. It is crazy. It's all right. I don't want to embarrass you in front of your dad, man. He's a
Ah,
good I can speak for him. He's a good guy, but his son,
oh, okay. You speak for him.
he's
That's,
still on the
Okay.
that's
spectrum.
wild.
Yeah,
Well,
he's still on the spectrum.
all right. Well,
Hey,
let's tell our viewers who you are, how you met
Yeah,
Tristan, and so forth.
I don't want to come off. I came off so rude. I'm sorry. My name is Melvin Derrico. I am one of Treston's close friends. Actually attended Elmhurst with Treston, out of state kid as well. So yeah, had a lot of growing pains to say the least. But yeah, great experience. That what was it, like year and a half we
yeah,
had?
it was like a year. We
Yeah,
only
because
knew each other for that year, or we
yeah.
in person that year. After that, we've been friends since.
Yeah, I dropped out, as you can tell by my demeanor. So, yeah, I finished off somewhere else. But yeah, me and Tristan always kept in touch. And great guy, great coach. Well, great coach, um, great
Whoa,
football
whoa,
player.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Look,
Talk
all
about
right,
great coach.
okay. Look. Let me say this. I'm gonna. He is a good guy, but he's still he's a how can I put this? Arguing with people from Texas can be very exhausting. It is mental to your sanity. There's three things you can't argue with a Texan about:
What's that?
barbecue, Texas barbecue, uh, powerlifting, and football.
I mean,
And
sounds right to me.
that was about the three things we always butted heads on.
Right.
So, but
Hey, look,
besides
you
that,
you can't get mad at me because any Texas team will whoop any Florida team any day. So look,
I don't know how many young people we have watching currently live, but it's not good to do drugs, kids. Don't do
just
drugs.
say
They're not
no,
good
huh?
for your long-term health.
Right.
Yeah, just say no. Yeah, just say
Well,
no. No, look, man, those Florida Texas teams, man, we never gonna see eye to eye. We're always gonna feel like one's better than the other.
right.
So
Well,
we
I
live or
would
die with
tell
that.
Tristan this right here after he hooked me up with you about coming in because you're gonna be on the podcast with me on the 18th when we're
Yes, sir.
talking about politics and everything like that. And it was your idea to come up with this idea to go on and just jump on here, and I wanted to go on and surprise him. And I think we got it pretty good because he looked down at the bottom of the screen and saw you when I added you to the
Yeah, he
screen.
did. Yeah, he
So,
did. Well, I didn't want him to bore everybody with his America's Got Talent stories, so I figured I'd
Oh,
just
okay.
come on and
I,
no,
look,
I'm
I got
messing
some
with. I didn't.
stories that won't bore nobody.
I
We
know.
will go there. I got some
I know.
stories that won't bore nobody.
Some of them don't tell the ones I'm involved in, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
tell all the other good ones, just not the ones with me, because
right. Most definitely. Well, let me ask you this right here before we get ready to go on with kind of our interview here. So you're there at Elmhurst. Tristan's there. Who initiated the contact, and how did you guys become so close? Because Tristan have told me that you guys before, in the friendship you have.
Right. So the thing is, college in a sense guys can click up just like prison, right? So in prison, blacks hang with blacks, whites hang with whites, Spanish hang with Spanish. In college, when you go to a PWI, especially somewhere like Elmhurst, where there's like 6% Caucasian people. So for one, just a black teammate is going to stick out for one, and then two, being out of state. So there was already a relation, a connection there, and once you figure out somebody a Cowboys fan, you figure they're just as stupid as me. So
Wow.
it's it's easy to get along with
All right.
somebody.
Right.
What he ain't telling you is we sat right next to each other in camp. His locker is right here.
Yeah.
Ain't
That is
speak to
true.
each other at all.
At
camp.
all.
Right next to each
What?
other. No clue. Like almost like we ain't even exist to each other. We sitting right next
Nope.
there. And then one day it was
Every
just like
day.
a
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was like it was like a food thing, maybe, or and two, I had a phobia. I never want to shower with the guys.
Right.
So a lot of times too, like we would never speak because I would just, take my stuff off and get out of there.
Right.
So a lot of times, like I don't know. It was kind of weird now I'm thinking about it, how we just never spoke.
Looking back
for,
at it.
For like a month. Yeah, it was crazy.
Month, we
month
sitting right next to each other.
Well, that's what's up.
Crazy.
That's what's up. All right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you jumping on in, tapping on in, and I look forward to touching base back with you again for when we get ready to do our politics from sugar to shit on the 18th of this month, and I'll be posting and tagging you on that. And you got any last words you want to holler at him before we get out of here and carry on?
I appreciate you popping up and following up with your word. We hop on the phone and talk for about an hour every so often, so it's always good to see you.
Always good to see you, man. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the show, man. Y'all boys be good.
All right, man. Thanks, man. We'll holler.
All right. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Melvin, there we go.
Yeah. That's pretty good. So back to back where we're going. We're talking from Gridiron Dreams to Sideline Glory. So let me just stroll back down here to one of my questions that I have for you. And you've kind of answered this before a little bit. Or did you want to finish where you were a while ago?
What were we saying?
We were talking about, your advice to giving a young person and you saying to get the finances. And
be sure on the finances first. Make sure that's great. And then how you're going to pay for school. But once you get that part of it, you just want to go somewhere where you feel at home at, right? Because you got to understand that wherever you go to college at, it's going to set up the rest of your life pretty much. Like me, I went to Chicago for thinking it was just going to be for 4 years, right? Mm-hmm. I've been in the Midwest now for almost 9 years, right? Like it's what it is now. Like my whole life is there. Yeah. Like you leave, you graduate high school, you have your high school friends, and those guys are great. And I'm still cool with a lot of those dudes. But when you go to college, the friends you meet there is different. Like the kids you knew in high school, y'all were kids together. You become a man with the friends that you meet in college. So those guys I'm a lot closer with because of all the things that we've done together. And now it set up my job. Like I was working there, and then I got a job coaching up there, and then I got another job coaching up there, and then I got another job coaching up there. It's just how it is. So wherever you go, it's going to set up the rest of your life. So just make sure you're prepared for whatever it is or wherever you go.
Okay, that's what's up. Okay. So my questions, they just kind of random. They're not in no type of order. So I'm just kind of all over the place. I don't have nobody backstage putting my shit together.
These questions are not pre-given to me, by the way. So these are all just off the cuff. Exactly. So let's get it.
So here you are. So I like for someone, there's another kid out here. He's never been on a plane, haven't left home or whatever. So just in your own words, describe the feeling of you having to go through this airport, how to find and navigate everything yourself. You talked about it briefly, but just to this person that's probably watching, what would you say to him about navigating through the airport?
It's not as hard as you think it is, right? You get to the airport, they give you a boarding pass, right? A boarding pass, and your boarding pass tells you everything you need to know. All you gotta do is follow the signs. Like if you can drive from Temple to Waco, or you can drive from Temple to Troy, right up the street, right? You can get through an airport. It's real simple. All the signs are there. And then when you get on the flight, to me, I love to travel. The worst part is the flight, but not because the flight's bad. It's just because I want the flight to be over so I can be where I'm at. I want to get to where I'm going.
Right.
It's not as bad as you think. Flying, you go up, you take off, and then at some point you land. It's real simple.
Right.
It's real easy. It's not hard at all. So all you gotta do is do it. The worst thing you want to do is not ever do anything because you're scared to travel. Right? You don't want to be like that. It's real simple. Just follow directions and you can do it.
Right. Okay. And get there early and get there on time.
For sure, get there early. Now, I'm not saying I'm not like you. I ain't got to be there 3-4 hours before you take off. I get there about an hour beforehand, and usually I'm pretty straight. And know the days that you're flying on. That you're flying on a busier day, like a Friday. All right, you might want to be there a little bit earlier. But like I flew in this last time on Tuesday. Ain't nobody flying on Tuesday. And we went right through security in not even 30 minutes. So just kind of know when you're flying and where you're going.
All right, cool. All right, appreciate that. All right. So here's one of my Google notes. On average, 32.9% of students who enrolled in an undergraduate degree program do not finish the program. This was dated July the 13th of 2023. So my question to you is, what kept you focused on graduating?
Well, I knew what I wanted to do. Right. I've known that I wanted to be a coach since I was 9 or 10 years old. And I know the only way you can be a coach is to have a college degree. That's it. You got to have a college degree. So I had no choice but to finish. There was no, well, if coaching don't work out, I'm gonna be a plumber. Like, nah, like that wasn't an option for me. It was either go play football as long as I can, then become a coach. Right. So I had to finish. And big thing for me is I don't quit. Like there's no quit in me. So if I start something, the only way to do it is to finish it. Right. There's no, I started, it got a little hard. Oh, I got dyslexia, whatever it is, I'm going to finish what I started. So that's what it was with me. I started it, was a PE major, stayed a PE major, didn't switch my major, and finished it in 4.5 years. Right. So and that's counting the COVID year also. Right. So which sucked. Right. But yeah, that's pretty much what it was. So it kept me focused, is knowing what I wanted to do, why I wanted to do it, and then not quitting, right? Not being soft, essentially. So
most definitely. All right, that sounds good. Staying with it, already focused, knowing already. So I had to take out one of my notes because you said you knew you wanted to be a coach way back then, and I had on my notes.
I'm just taking out all your notes.
That. You just let me turn my phone a little bit to the side here a little bit. So okay, so here you are as a coach, in college or whatever. So describe to me, how do you bond with your players and get them to doing what you want to and get them to perform? You as a coach, how do you bond with your players?
I think a lot of it is just showing that you actually care, right? None of my players feel like they're just a number, right? To me, like if they have to talk to me about something, they talk to me about something. They call me, I'm going to answer the phone, right? If they want to come down to my office, we'll chop it up. And I think that's a big part of it. I didn't really necessarily feel that way when I was playing in college, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of what I went through in college, I don't want someone else to go through. So I feel like when I was in there, when I was playing, I learned how not to be as a coach. So because of that, I do the opposite of what happened to me. Mm-hmm. And my players have always responded to the way I've coached them, the way I teach them. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm hard on my guys sometimes. Like if they mess up, I'm on them. Like I'm letting them know I'm on them. But on the reverse of that, I'm also there for them, right? I'm talking to them. I'm letting them know what they're supposed to do, and I'm laying out the standard in the beginning. Right. Like there is no fuzziness when it comes to my standard. They know what it is, and you have to execute it. And then a big part of it is if you mess up, I'm gonna go off on you on the field. I'm gonna go off on you right then. I am. As soon as you do it, I'm on you right there. But then I'm also gonna take a second at some other point when I have a minute to come back and tell you why I went off on you, why you messed up, how not to do it again. So then my guys always improve because I'm always talking to them. Not only am I, you messed up, you can't, whatever it is. Right. But then I come back and say, look, you got to understand that you are offsides right there. You got to point at the referee and let them know I'm on the ball or I'm off the ball or whatever it is. Right. So I'm always teaching, and they're always learning because of that. Right.
Okay. Sounds great. You see the question on the board right there?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I said, I want to play as long as I could. As long as you could. I want to play as long as possible. And my plan originally was to go to Europe and play. Mm-hmm. But right when I finished my senior season in 2019, COVID happened right after that. All that ended at that point right there. And I was like, well, it's time to hop into coaching now. And my college career didn't go exactly as I planned it to go. I didn't get to start to my senior year for a plethora of reasons. But it is what it is. I started my senior year. I had a good senior year. I was going to use that film to go to Europe, play a little bit longer. COVID happens. I jumped right into coaching. I ended up getting an internship at a high school, which led me to a college eventually right after that. So that's pretty much it. I planned on going pro, but didn't work out for me. Right. And it is what it is on that.
Right, so. Right. All right. Stay focused and finish on too. So just to back up just for a second, kick it in reverse. Elmhurst didn't have the 4 years you was there, or 5, didn't have like a winning season, correct?
My first year we were 5-5, and that's the best we ever were.
Right. But you stayed. My point is, you stayed with them and you rode the course out. Yeah. Even though you didn't start till your senior year and all that stuff.
I made a commitment to go to that school. Right. I didn't make a commitment that had a contingency of, hey, I'm going here, but if I don't start, I'm getting out. Right. Or if I'm not playing when I want to play. I'm getting out. No, that's soft. That's not what a
Right.
commitment is, right? You made a commitment to go to that school. You go to that school and you finish at that school. And now I'm not saying that you don't do what's best for you. If you got to do what's best for you, sometimes you got to leave, right? Depending on what it is. That's just not how I was. Like me, I chose here. I'm gonna finish here, and that's what I did.
Great. All right. Sticking to it, man of the word. All right, moving right on along. So I'm gonna ask you what's the money like being a GA? But and you don't have to give me the numbers, but just for someone that's in college and now they want to be a college coach. Now they have to maybe survive with maybe $20 a month or whatever. So just talk to me about, let the viewers know there's someone out there wanting to be a head coach or wanting to coach in college. So talk to me about that, the GA process.
The best advice I ever got was from Coach Kelly when I was in high school. He told me, if you want to coach college football, you better get in it right out of college, right out of college, because everybody sees the contracts, right? The Nick Sabans, they see the Jim Harbaughs, the 10-year, $100 million contract, right? That's the top of the mountain. Top of the mountain. What you don't know is that mountain is Mount Everest. It's a bottom. It's a bottom for sure. And as a GA at a low level school, you're looking at, like, for example, our GAs at Clark, they make about $5,000 on the year, right? $5,000 on a year.
A year?
On the year. And they have a tuition remission. So basically they get half off tuition. No meal plan, no housing. You got to figure it out. Yeah. Now when I was a lower level coach, so my first job, I've never been a GA. I was part-time for 2 years and then I became full-time like I am now. And at my first job, we only made $4,000. So I made $4,000 working 80, 90 hours a week. I'm working all the mornings coaching, and then I would leave at like 11 and I would go and work at the YMCA.
Right.
I worked full time at the YMCA pretty much, and I did that for a year. I made $4,000 coaching at the YMCA, and then I worked at the $4,000 coaching football, and then I worked at the YMCA the rest of the time. So yeah, you don't make money in the beginning, and the thing is, you can't let your salary reflect your work, right? Because then you'll never move up. So even though I'm making 4,000, I'm working like I'm making 400,000, right? I'm working hard as I can to be the best that we can be, and that's why I've had drastic jumps in pay and in titles that I've had. So you got to go in and you got to bust your butt in the beginning, and you're gonna be the low man on the totem pole. You're gonna make the least amount of money. You're gonna have the most amount of work, and you're gonna have the most things thrown at you that nobody wants to do. And if you do that and you impress somebody, then you move up. And now somebody else is a low man, and now you're a little bit higher.
All right.
So
move right on up. All right, staying focused. Let me make my little quick commercial break right quick. Everyone out there, like you'd also remember that it is absolutely free, 100% free to like, share, and subscribe. If you happen to subscribe to my channel, make sure you hit the notification bell so you can get the notification whenever we upload another topic or anything like that, because we have all kind of shit coming your way, and it's uncut and unedited. And I did say shit. So now let's roll it. And that was a easy. That was a rated G version. Yeah. Okay, so now that commercial break is over with, so you had your first college coaching job was with who, or what team, or what college, and how did that?
So my first college job was with College of DuPage.
Okay.
But I worked the COVID season at York High School, and I was coaching the freshman team, freshman running backs, not doing much, just getting my feet wet essentially.
Right.
In coaching. We had a really good season that COVID season. Only lost one. Or actually, we didn't even lose a game. We tied a game. Which that summer led me to a decision, basically. York wanted me to come up and be their varsity running backs coach, but they weren't going to be able to pay me. I was just going to be a substitute teacher, and I was going to work there. Then I got an offer from my high school in Des Plaines, and they wanted me to be their full-time receivers coach, and I was going to teach like a special needs class.
Okay.
And then I got the College of DuPage offer also, where I was going to go there and be the running backs coach and run game coordinator. And obviously that's what I chose. Like, I'm thinking the high school job was good. It was good pay. The college DuPage job is terrible pay. But I was thinking that, if I can get into college, then I can stay in college, right?
Mhm.
Everybody, like, if I ever was going to go back to high school, every high school wants a college coach, but not every college wants a high school coach. So I chose to go to the college route. So I get to DuPage. We start workouts in July. Still working at the YMCA at this point. So this is the job where I work both. And so we start workouts in July. Now, the crazy part is this is coming out of COVID, right? So we didn't have a spring ball.
Mm.
We didn't have pads, none until August. Right now in JUCO, you only get guys for 2 years, right? So spring ball is highly important for development and knowing the playbook, right?
Right.
Otherwise, you're taking a bunch of random guys, putting them together and saying, hey, learn this offense and be good at it in 2 weeks. It's hard to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first maybe 3 weeks of the season, we were terrible on offense. Terrible. Like we scored, don't get me wrong. We scored 7 or 14 points and we were winning, but we had a great defense,
Right.
which defense to me is a lot quicker to learn. Because it's not to say that it's not hard, but it's a lot quicker to learn and be really good at it. Whereas
Right.
offense is a system that you got to learn and formations and this and that and this. Whereas defense is more of you just got to line up based off of how the offense is lined up.
Right.
So it's a lot more simple. But yeah, we ended up going and winning the national championship. The running back that I coached became the player of the year. He was a first team All-American, and he ended up transferring out and going to a D1 school. So we had a really good year that year. That was my first season coaching college. Won a national championship, got a ring, and then that propelled me to my next job, which was a crazy story in itself because, we came in. I'm the run game coordinator. We got 250 yards rushing a game. Got the number 1 running back in the country. Got all these accolades, from guys that I've coached and how we did. But my phone isn't ringing for every job that I'm applying for, right? And I'm getting stuck now because I'm not making any money. I'm rooming with 2 other guys, right? And both of those guys told me that year that, hey, I'm moving out, getting my own place after this. So now I'm in Illinois, no family there.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, now what am I going to do? Nobody's calling me. I ended up seeing this job for Carthage, who we played when I was in college, and I applied for it. And the coach called me and asked me about a GA position. And I told him, yeah, I'll do that. I'll interview for it. And then 2 weeks later, or a week later, he calls me and says, hey, actually, we got a receiver's job open. You want to come in and interview for it? Yeah. yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So I hopped in the car, drove an hour and a half up to Kenosha, Wisconsin, and interviewed for it. And they offered me the job the same day, and I accepted it the same day. I said, yeah, it's time to get it out of here and make a little bit more money and get into more coaching.
Exactly.
So yeah, it worked out for me like that. So
all right, cool. And you took another one of my questions, but that's okay though. It just happened. So, so here you are as a GA, and so now you have all these ideas and these different thoughts running through your head and everything like that, and being creative or whatever. So, do you feel that the head coach would listen to you? Did he take any advice or suggestions that you may have had?
So, I've never been a GA,
right? You said
but
that, yeah.
As a 70% of the time, the answer is you're here to listen and watch and be seen. You're not here to be heard. 70% of the time, that is exactly how it is.
That's it.
Now, don't get me wrong. There are some places where they actually do take input and they listen, and that's typically at smaller schools. At smaller schools where there's not as many coaches, the coaches are more likely to listen to younger coaches and hear what they have to say. I just happened to be at the place at Carthage where I was really good with the offensive coordinator. He was a quarterback's coach. He was a passing game guy, and I was a receivers coach. So I happened to get in really good with him, and he allowed me to put in a lot of different passing concepts, and he allowed me to help a lot in the game plan part of it.
Right.
So I was fortunate. That's all that was. It's typically like if you're at a bigger school, like say you're a GA at Ohio State, you might as well not even speak. Like that's not what you do there. You just listen is what you do. But like I said, I was fortunate where I was at to be able to put in input and have it be heard and then have it be put into the game plan.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty much how that goes.
Yeah, that's something. So, all right, let me jump on the weather for a second. So, you down here in Texas, where you born and raised?
Mm-hmm.
You was in Chicago, Wisconsin, in
Iowa.
Iowa. So, I know I spoke with you one time. You told me you had to dig your car out. So, I want to know, what was the first winter like for you, like in Chicago? You know, and I think in one of the dorms you was in, it didn't have what, heat or air or something, or
Didn't have heat.
heat.
Oh no, it didn't have air.
Hair.
Didn't have air, and I had an
Really?
apartment that didn't have heat.
Yeah.
So it was tough. It was tough. So my first winter in Illinois, Elmhurst was cool in the sense of the first big snow, we always had a midnight snowball fight. Right. The first big snow was probably like 8 inches of snow in the night or whatever. And it snowed hard. And it's weird, like, cause you know, you don't see that here, right? You don't see that much snow. So let me think. It was fun. It was fun that day. I honestly hate the snow. Let me be honest with you. I hate it. I don't like it at all. It's cool the first day. The first day you see it, white Christmas, you know, twinkle in your eye, cool. Yeah. Great stuff. But then what you get tired of is, now when I was in college, I didn't have my car, right? So it snows. I wake up, I see it snows. So now I gotta put on my boots, 2 pair of sweatpants, a jacket, a hoodie, all this stuff, get all the way dressed to walk across campus to go to either workouts or go to class or whatever it is. And really, it got worse once I got my car, because you get your car there now. Now my car snowed in, so now I got to shovel it out. I didn't even have a scraper. For the first 2 years, I'm out there with a credit card trying to scrape all the snow off of my car. Till somebody was like, "Bro, you gotta get a scraper. Like, what are you doing?" And then this past year, this year is probably the most snow I've seen. So fast, right? Like, it's snowed in other places consistently, and it'd be like, 2 inches here, 3 inches there, 4 inches here. But we got smacked with 12 inches of snow on like Monday. Then it was just cold for a few days, and then we get smacked with 12 inches of snow again on like a Thursday. So that's 24 inches of snow in really 2 days. It's just, a few days in between those 2 days. But it was crazy. It's crazy. I don't like the snow, but it's thing about the cold is you can always put on more clothes, right? If you're down here in Texas and it's 105, it's 105 whether you got clothes on or if you're naked. It don't matter. It's 105. You know what I mean? It don't make a difference.
And so I think here in Texas, you already know. I mean, we get half a snowflake, they shut the whole city down.
Yep, it's over.
It's over, and they're putting down sand.
Yep.
So y'all up there, you got 3 feet of snow, and you still have to go to work. You still got to, clear the sidewalk and all that.
Yep, all that. Yeah, you got to clear the sidewalk. And that sand is a joke. Yeah, that's right there is a joke. You got to put that salt down. Yeah. And that's what they do up there. They put down salt, which keeps the ground from freezing so quickly. Now it still be, don't get me wrong, they put down that salt and it still be a little slick out there. Right. But it helps a lot. And like I said, it's not as bad as you would think it is. Being down here and you see it up there, you're like, oh, it's terrible up there. Ain't no way I could drive in that. I've drove in it and it had no problem ever. Right. So you just got to know, how you're doing it and where you're going and how you're driving. Watch your speed. Don't be out there just trying to whip out in front of cars, and then you get to slide and end up in a ditch or something like that. So
I heard that. So we're talking about From Gridiron Dreams to Sideline Glory. I only have a few more questions, but I'd like talk for you to tell me about some of the titles that you have, that you've got to over the time in college.
So my first job at College of DuPage, I was running backs coach and I was the run game coordinator. And basically what the run game coordinator does is design and implement all the run game plays, all the running plays, or you basically design them, show them to the offensive coordinator. And if he likes it, then it goes in the game plan. So that's what I did my first year. My second year, when I went to Carthage, I was just the receivers coach. I was just a receivers coach. That's all I pretty much did there. I helped out in special teams and I helped out in all our passing game, but I was just receivers. But then when I took the Clark job, I came in as just a receivers coach. And then I had a part in special teams. So like a co-special teams coordinator, I coordinate all of our kick return stuff. But then as I got there, I got to noticing how we do things and I had ideas in recruiting. which led to me becoming the recruiting coordinator. So I do that, and then our passing game coordinator leaves. So then unofficially, our like a passing game coordinator, I help with all of our passing game stuff, design it, game plan it, everything like that. I meet with the quarterbacks and the receivers, and anything in that aspect. Yeah, that's what I do. I help passing game, special teams, and then recruiting coordinator, and then wide receivers coach. So,
and the good thing about all those different titles is each one will come with like about a $5,000 additional raise, right?
shit, I wish. No, it come with the work and the experience. That's what it come
Exactly.
with. Which my ultimate goal is to be a head coach, right? So if you want to be a head coach, you got to know something about recruiting, right? You got to know something about either a side of the ball, preferably both sides of the ball, and special teams. That's what I'm doing now. I'm working in all that stuff. So I'm preparing for it. Like I'm gonna be ready to be an OC here real soon. I've been preparing to be an OC for the last 2 years. So pretty soon I'll be ready to interview for that. Not trying to rush it or anything because I'm happy where I am right now. But I know my goals, right? I want to be an OC, then I want to be a head coach. So I'm working towards that every day.
Like you can see, my next damn question was, what's your overall coaching goal?
I just I just call them how I see it.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
All right. Well, since you taking all my questions or whatever like that, so the last one that I have on my list that you haven't looked at or seen or know about now. So I just any last words or thoughts that you like to leave with any young guy that may be watching it that's on their way to college, or someone that any last words at all that you might want to leave on the table before we end this podcast.
Yeah, I would just say, big thing is don't go in expecting to just be the man right away. And if you're not the man, some guys are, don't get me wrong. Some guys go there and they're the man day one. And maybe you were the man day one at your high school, right? But you got to think, when you get on a college roster, every single one of those dudes was the man at their school, right? Everybody was the man. And you're not going to just get it like that and nothing's going to be handed to you. So you got to go in and you got to work. And I say work. I've had guys say, I've been working hard for 6 months and I don't see results. Well, there's guys that work hard for 4 years and never see results, right? It's not about the end result. It's about the process. Like, what are you doing in the process to be the best you can be? And sometimes you'll work hard forever and it doesn't work out in football. You never become the guy you thought you would be. And that's what it is. But you take all those habits that you built into whatever you do next. And that's the most important thing to me. And that's what I try to teach my guys. So you say what to leave with next group of guys coming in. Go in, work hard. Don't expect to be the man, but go in and work like you're the man, even when you're not the man. And then take whatever lessons that you learn from that with you going forward. Football is short. It has an expiration date for every single person that ever put on a helmet. It's not like basketball. Basketball, you'll go to the gym, you'll see a dude 50 years old hooping, going crazy. You're not going to see that in football. When you 50, I promise you, you're not going out there putting on no helmet and shoulder pad. You ain't even going out there playing flag. No. I'm 26, and if somebody tackle me right now, we going to fight. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, do not hit me. I'm done. It's over with. So just go in, know you have an expiration date. So you got to live every single day that you have a chance to play football like it's the last day, because it could be, right? You could get hit and it'd be over like that. So you got to work hard every single day, and then after that, take those lessons with you through the rest of your life. But yeah, that's what I would say to the next group of guys coming up.
All right, well said. And before I close out, there was one thing that just came to mind. In high school, you line it up, you run it over the plays. There's a playbook. In college, I believe you told me one time you have to study that book on your own.
Oh, yeah.
You can't. Yeah. There's not. When you get on the field, you're supposed to already know the plays, right?
Yes, yeah. So in high school, from the way I felt was, we learn stuff on the go in high school. Like in practice, we're learning the plays a little bit in practice, and then we're talking about it and going over it. In college, they gave you a playbook yesterday. Matter of fact, they gave you a playbook last night. We got practice at 8 a.m. You're supposed to know it by 8 a.m. You got to know that. So, and I'm assuming it's the same way in the NFL. Right? We expect you to do your part and study the plays. And then when you get out to the field, you know it. Right? I'm just coaching you on, hey, it's a little bit deeper on that route. Or are you supposed to make this type of cut? I'm not sitting there have to tell you what 60 Tulsa is. I shouldn't have to tell you the whole play and what everybody's doing. So yeah, you got to learn that on your own time. Don't get me wrong, we meet for an hour, but an hour is not enough time for you to learn a college playbook. Now you got to be learning that, studying it on your own, or coming up to the office asking me for help. That's showing me that you want to do this. But if you are watching film, like, guys don't know this, but if you play football and you have a huddle account, the coaches can log in the huddle and see how many hours of film you watch. So I'll have a guy, he's complaining, saying, hey, I don't understand why I'm not playing. I don't understand this, that, and next. And I pull up huddle, and in a week, he got 2 minutes of film watched.
You don't want it.
Yeah, you don't even know what you're doing, and you're arguing with me. Like, come on, man, get out of my face. So yeah,
that's what's up. All righty, from Gridiron Dreams to Sideline Glory. Talking with Tristan T-Mac Womack, was a player in high school, a player in college, and on his way now, he's actually a coach in college, and looking for one day to be the OC, working your way on up to head coach, and then hopefully one day in the NFL.
I'll definitely take it if I got it.
Right. Well, just send me some tickets. Be more than glad to come and check it out.
You be in the box. It's already, you straight.
Already. Anyway, guys, I'd like for y'all to remember that it's absolutely free, 100% free. You can't beat free.
Can't beat it.
Can't be free. To like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate everyone from watching Wizzo Talk. Hopefully you guys are tuned back in. You can also find me on Spotify at Wizzo Talk 8972. And we're going to end this out of here. And I didn't even mess up my damn intro
Look
like
at
I
you.
normally do. Shit, something get a little bit better.
It must be.
All righty.